am on a mission, and that mission is to slap people upside the head and wake them up and even make them hate me, if that's what it takes to get them to go examine what I'm telling them to find out that it's right.
First of all, this needs to be said. There never was a war. How can you say that, Bill? Well, a war is when two armies are fighting.
Politicians. Everybody complains about politicians. Everybody says they suck. Well, where do people think these politicians come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. They come from American parents and American families, American homes, American schools, American churches, American businesses, and American universities, and they're elected by American citizens. This is the best we can do, folks. This is what we have to offer. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out.
You know, and all these hidden agendas and just brainwashing and bizarre belief systems that are being thrown at us, you know, when they should all leave. Not only the good ones and the bad ones, they should all just leave and leave us alone.
And happy Tuesday to everyone out there in Radio Land listening diligently with your ears pressed right up against the speakers going, what's going to happen tonight? And welcome. It's Tuesday, the 4th day of the second month of the 2,400 millionth year of the decade of, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But it's Justyn time, and we are going to have a good night tonight. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I have Mr. James here with me tonight. Mr. James?
Hello, everyone. And we never know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I just want to make sure anyone that might be randomly showing up, knowing that we don't know what we talk about. We just go.
Yeah, we don't.
We're like we're like a posi track in a Plymouth. How's it work? I don't know. It just does. It just does. We just go. So anyway. So tonight we do have phones. So if anyone wants to chime in, call in, tell us we're stupid, awesome, sound bad, can't hear us, annoying, or have any really good, awesome points or news or anything they want to talk about. Something personal would be great. We do have open phones, so it's 718-717-8296, and we are live all night long until 8. All night long until 8. That's my bedtime. I have to go to bed at 8. My mom said so.
Shuts off the basement light.
That's right. She has a switch at her house, man. You know, I know I have my property near my parents and all, so there's like a 5-inch around, like, electrical cord coming all the way from their house with a huge Acme plug that plugs in their wall. And at 8 o'clock, or actually 8:01, she comes out and kicks the thing out of the wall, and I have no more power, so it's bedtime. I know it's a little cartoonish, but that's my life. That's me. I live the part well. I sound like one too. I am.
I know, but you know, there's this whole thing. You know, people don't like the way they sound on like recording. It's exactly what I sound like to me. Maybe my ears are messed up.
Okay, I'm gonna stop doing that. You can slap me, man. It's cool. Just make sure everyone can hear it, so we got a nice sound effect. You know, just make sure my head wraps off the side of the microphone, so everyone gets a double whack.
It's like what you do to your friend when he's passed out on a road trip and he's laying up against the passenger window. Yeah, I know it's a mean thing, but...
Well, I've never done that more than once. It was fun the first time.
Just remember, turnabout's fair play, and it sucked my ass.
Yeah, well, just don't do it to your ex-girlfriend, trust me. She was your girlfriend when you did it, not afterwards.
Well, I guess that would have been worth it.
Must have been a bone in a cigarette. I hate that. I think they're sticking more weird stuff in cigarettes because he's getting bones and I've been getting like hot sauce. I don't know what it is. I'm just being weird tonight. I got a weird night. I got a whole, I don't know if I can top last week's Tuesday, like rant fest. And I got to go all weird. You're going to have to talk directly into that microphone. Is your switch off? Your switch. His switch was off, everyone.
Not my fault. So do we have to do all that over again?
No.
Okay.
But you know, that was your fault because you have control of that switch.
Oh yeah, it is my fault. Oops. Sorry, everyone.
I did the mixer just right. I pushed the button on the mixer. It said go. It's go time. So I think we're here. I think we're both here. Pretty sure we're both here.
I think so.
I'm not sure. Are we in reality yet?
That's up to your own.
Are we like stuck in a fear and Las?
Are we just having a dream?
Vegas?
Oh, well, I guess there's worse places to be, but are we just in each other's dream? Like, okay, sweet, all right, cool. Go with it. So that means we can do whatever we want in the dream and get away with it.
All right, now we're getting okay. All right, we got feedback from the chat says we're good now.
Okay.
I always forget about the 32.5 second delay.
Oh.
Guys, you could have called in and yelled at us. You could have just called in, but no, you had to make me read. Do you know how much I have to read all day long? Not very much. And when I do read,
his brain hurts.
Thank you for pointing out all this stuff. So, Mr. James.
So, Mr. Justyn.
Is there anything in your world that's relatively close to my world that you would like to bring up tonight?
After our discussion last week about cars and all the little things that they're putting into cars, I heard on the BPR that there's talk of trying to make all cars talk amongst themselves on the highway.
Yeah, that's like Wi-Fi communicating.
Yeah, saying like
10
times a second they will communicate with all cars around it, and they will keep the distance and speed correct so that there are no accidents. I can think of a lot of things. It's sort of like the autonomous car that drives you to the police station when you have tickets to pay or whatever.
Well, how's the car going to stop you from running into someone else when we're still mostly mechanically connected to the steering wheel?
The cars can stop themselves now.
Yeah, I know.
They can stop themselves. So, I mean, that's all. They're going to incorporate that into communicating with other vehicles.
Those are really, speaking of cars stopping themselves, just we're on the same topic. I'm not going to completely derail us.
That's fine.
But on that show Top Gear,
yes,
there was one episode where they were testing out the adaptive cruise control on these the new Mercedes or something a few years ago, and I don't know what the dude's name was. Can't remember what the dude's name was, but he's like, he got the camera on him, right? And he's in this Mercedes doing frickin' 80 miles an hour down the interstate, and he sets the adaptive cruise. He's like, all right, we're gonna test this out, and he turns off to the exit. And there's cars stopped at the stoplight. And he's doing 80. And he's holding on the steering wheel. And he's just like, okay. Anytime. And within probably 50 yards of the car, it starts locking up. And it comes to a screeching halt within a foot from the car in front of him. Now, my question is that kind of, that's like the first step on having real, control issues with your vehicles.
Yeah, you think so?
I don't need to have my car thinking for me. It's bad enough I try to think for myself.
Yeah.
That whole common sense out the window thing. But my car thinking for me is something I have a problem with. That's why I drive a 21-year-old car. My 21-year-old car is fine. Actually, no, it's not. It's downstairs with the transmission pan ripped off of it. And it doesn't go anywhere. That's why you had to bring me home tonight. But when it comes to reality, I like a car that I can control. And having these cars not only having this adaptive braking system and the self-park mode and syncing up with your phones and being able to think like a computer and then having them talk to each other. Like, all I hear is like Skynet, you know, it's like, okay, now like Skynet's starting, we're going to start like beta test number 1. Let's have all the cars talk with each other. And they're going to talk with each other while we're driving down the road. Now it's bad enough when I'm talking to the person sitting next to me or on the phone. What if these cars are talking to them? They just have a brain skip, you know, because we run across communication errors in cars all the time, just the way they are now between the circuits inside of them, which cause, say, the electronic throttle body to shut down. Yep. It's like, oh, we're just no gas pedal. Not until you shut it off and turn it back on again.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. I also, okay, so 2 things. Those type of systems in cars are serving one purpose, which is to make people lazier. Like an automatic parallel park, that's just stupid. That infuriates me because it makes people lazier. And it's what happens if you're doing 70 miles, because they could raise the speed limits to whatever they want, because they could probably electronically put sensors all along the roads to do it. So the car's going to be doing the exact speed limit, and we'll say that's 70 miles an hour. And there happens to be a big electrical storm, and whatever system is there gets hit and goes down. Like, what happens to all that communication, you know, or even like you said, what if the computers across the car themselves lose communication? What, you know, is it going to just lock brakes up? Right. And, you know, I just don't see how. Well, I have not that much faith in a computer to do that.
Electrical storms in general affect like our Wi-Fi and stuff like with our phones and stuff.
If the wind blows up here and our Wi-Fi is.
Even though we're sitting next to it, the wind blows and we're screwed. Yeah. I know what you mean. And just another thing to where machines are taking over the world. We're coming into a transhumanist, technology-based society. How do you feel? Would you like your blue pill now? We can reinsert you. That doesn't sound very good.
No, but in the context, it's fine.
Like, you know, I'll stick with my dumb car, you know, still have, you know, I had to drive my mom's car yesterday, and it's fun to drive and all.
The Juke?
The Juke. My mom's got
to be the
Juke.
ugliest.
It is the fuggliest car ever. It looks like a toad. It looks like a toad that drives down the road.
It looks like a turd from an Aztec. Like an Aztec mated with like a Porsche Cayenne, and that was its baby. It was this rounded, ugly little thing.
It came from Monsanto, really, I think. I think Nissan commissioned Monsanto to mix a few things together, you know. We're gonna take some frog, and we're gonna take some, you know, some Porsche Cayenne, and we're gonna mix it with some Nissan, what's that little car they have there? What's it called? Yeah, the Leaf.
The electric thing?
We're gonna meld all those 3 together, and this is what we came out with. Anyway, you missed my point. Mr. Let go of that rail derailment button thingy that you got there. The thing that bugs me about that car, and almost all new cars have these, but they have the key fob, the frequency emitting box. And you have to have that with you to start the freaking thing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of cars nowadays, you gotta push the brake, sit in the thing, and you gotta push a computer on button. Mm-hmm. That is not right.
It actually looks like the Xbox button, but yes.
But it's not right.
Dude, I do it all the time in the cars I drive for work. Like, all the time. They're almost all push button starts.
What happened? Well, there is a key. There still is a key, but like what bugs me is that. Here's one of the things.
But it's not an actual key. It's a fob that you put into the dashboard.
Well, that's for like Priuses and stuff. And
all the new Nissans have them. All the Infinities have them. Well, those are Nissans. But, there's a couple of other cars, there's a couple of Suburbans that I drive that have those type of fobs.
But they have an actual mechanical key too, that in case the fob dies. I know the Nissan does, because you flip the thing over, it's got a little unlock button thing, and you pull on the little keychain, and the key comes out of it.
Into the car. Like, you can't start it.
But there's a cover right next to the steering column. I haven't popped it off because it's not my car to look at it, because you know, I just don't want to mess with my mom's car.
Anyway, sorry. I derailed you again, sorry.
You're a bad conductor.
It's conversation. I don't care.
Mic up the cat.
Go for it.
Where was I going with? Okay, here's the idea that I was going with. I've been talking with the dude at work about this. is with these key fobs. Like you have to have them in a car in a certain number of feet around the car, and the car will stay running. Now, if you went into a store, which is, I wish I could have any videos of these people doing this, because someone's got to have done this. But like, someone's got to have tried to steal one of these cars. And the owner has the key in their pocket. They must have, there's got to be some stupid freaking car thief out there that like went out, jumped in a ugly ass juke like my mom's, and like pushed the brake, hit the button for on, and drove away, and got about 50 yards away, and the thing shuts off, and they come to a rolling stop. Like, but the point is they can do that if you leave your car unlocked.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yep.
I don't know if that weeds out stupid car thieves or that just creates an inconvenience for you.
No, it's going to breed a new breed of car thief where they'll have to carry like some sort of smartphone device and like a reader, and I bet you they could get the frequency. Bang, and that's all it is, because it's just a frequency to the car, to the computer. So
right, it unlocks the immobilizer and all that
right.
stuff. Yeah.
So all you would need is that frequency. So, and I bet you there's something out there right now that.
Oh well, there's already car thieves out there that are using these frequency generator boxes, because there's a certain number of frequencies that are allowed to open and close doors and shit. And they literally, it's kind of like reminiscent of the what they call the blue box from the 70s, the phone freaking boxes.
Oh yeah, I called those chingers, but yeah,
chingers. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're very similar to that. But what they do is they just hit a button, and this little circuit board. They probably use like a Raspberry Pi motherboard, and the little teeny $30 programmable computer you can get through like those techie sites. And it just literally just cycles through all these frequencies right next to the car. With that, just hit the button, and when it hits that frequency, the car unlocks. And they just get in, they steal their cigarettes, their chains, their CDs, and whatever else they have in the car.
I've made one of those boxes before.
Really?
Chinger before. You used to be able to go to Radio Shack. It was like a little voice recorder, and it had star and pound buttons on the bottom. It looked like a phone, but it was just like one little speaker.
Just a keypad with a little
speaker on it. And you would buy a $2 other chip, break off the chip, replace the chip, and then drop like $1 in quarters in. And record it, and then you just hit it as much as you needed on any payphone. All it did was emit the signal, like you dropped the quarter in, and you could hear the phone. It would be like click, like you dropped in quarters.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. That was similar to what they did in the movie Hackers. They just used a tape recorder, and they'd put in like $5 worth of quarters, and then they record the tones, and then they just hit the freaking thing and get their money back and just play the tones back.
Yep.
Can't do that no more, guys.
When was the last time you saw a payphone?
I think I was at the antique store a little while ago, actually.
Actually, I saw one recently, but it wasn't up here. I don't know, I forget where I was at. But I saw one recently. It was like, it was a shock because it was an actual payphone.
I've seen a payphone booth. It had nothing in it. It had some stuff in the bottom, some junk and garbage and some graffiti on it. But, where have we gone to this society? Everyone's got a cell phone.
Mobile tracking device.
That's what they really are. That's what all phones are. Every cell phone connected to the network is a tracking device to a certain extent. Just depends on how much energy whoever's want to track you wants to put into it. Even if you have an old track phone that's for some reason still works, and you didn't smash the thing on the pavement because it didn't work then. I don't know how many track phones I'd put to a splattery.
Stress test?
Yeah, we'll call it that. I was going to call it, a raging pile of plastic on the ground.
Like snow?
That's right. Oh man! But they are actually. Everyone in chat seems to be talking about the snow melting videos. I want to talk about that for a minute. For just a minute, I've seen on YouTube a lot of videos of people taking their lighters to snow. Good on you. I don't know what to say. Anything you put a Bic lighter to is going to leave black sooty stuff on. And any amount of time you leave a lighter lit for 30 seconds or more, you're going to start smelling the casing to get hot, and it's going to smell like plastic. So this whole thing with the Atlanta, Florida plastic snow thing. I don't want to sound like I'm just gonna lay it right on the line. It's all BS. Straight up. It's all BS. The way you, if you want to test out this snow to be plastic or not, grab a torch. Grab a propane torch and hold it up to the snow. And if you get something that maintains some kind of meltiness in the end, show me a video of that. But anything you put a lighter to is going to make soot. Anything. Put it up to glass. You put it up to wood. You put it up to your hand. And your hand smells like plastic afterwards.
And it hurts.
It does. It really does. I've learned to start. Remember back in, what movie? Oh, remember, it was, actually, this is when I was the stupid kids when we were young and before they had it's probably part of the reason why they have the child safety lighters now. Remember, Lethal Weapon 1 with, Gary Busey? And he had the lighter out and he was all like, Mr. E, and he had the lighter over his hand and he'd stand there like this. He's like, ah. Yeah, we used to do that. But yeah, you get the black mark on your wrist and you're not as cool as you think you were and your mom wonders why you have a blister on your hand. So really, I just want to say, people out there playing with your lighters, be safe, don't burn yourself, and use your head. You know what I mean?
Good words of advice.
Just, there's some things out there that just don't need to be explored. Am I wrong?
Nope, not at all. That's a very good way of putting it.
If it's cold, the best way to test out plastic snow is put it in your hand and let it melt. If it doesn't melt, call me. I'm right here, 718-717-8296. I'll be here for the next million years. Minus everything but the next hour and a half. So, just wanted to get that out there because I see people in chat talking about it. But, yeah, it's just the lighter you're smelling, and the butane is not burning completely. It's the same reason why you have black soot around your tailpipe in your car. Because nothing burns cleanly unless you have a blue flame flying out the side of it. Which I have seen cars with blue flames flying out the rear.
Yeah, and that's not burning all that clean, but
the blue flame ones are the ones that do the propane injection out the tailpipe because they want to look cool. They watch Fast and Furious way too many times. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then anyone that has anything really big that shoots a real big flame, don't pull a John McCain. And hit the afterburner and kill people on the Forrestal. Don't do that either. And if anyone does out there have a plane they can do that with, take me for a ride. I've never been in one of those.
That would be actually very cool.
That's one thing I want to do. If anything in my whole life I want to do,
go for a ride.
Is I want to go for a ride in an F-18.
Oh,
or an F-14. I got no real. I don't really have anything against or for a 16 or a 15. I don't want to fly an F-22 because I like staying awake, and I don't want to fly in an F-35 because I want to make sure we get to the ground. But these old tried and true, you gotta look at the Tomcat.
Exactly. F-14 Tomcat.
They were built in the late 60s and the 70s, and they're still flying them. And we're all worried about Iran. Oh my God, Iran, they got, stuff and they're gonna blow us up. It's like, dude, we sold them most of their Air Force. They got a lot of F-15s and F-14s. They have a 1977 and 1973. They have a bunch of 70s F-14s. Why? Because they work. For the same reason my grandfather still drives a late 50s, early 60s dump truck for his farm, because no matter what he does to that thing, it still starts and still goes. The same way as it did before. So. Okay. Now we got all that stuff out of the way.
Good.
Plastic snow and F-14s. They mix well. So, what else is on your radar?
See, this is something that bothers me, but, other states. Now, I've been reading about other states other than New Hampshire, which I heard about, are offering illegal immigrants college tuition at a low rate.
That's exactly what we need. We need to make sure the illegal immigrants come in here and get everything for free. That's, I've been advocating that for like a whole 5 seconds now. And I thoroughly believe that because I saw that on mainstream TV. I think it was some, pundit somewhere that had to blah, blah, blah. Yeah. He was like, yeah, we need to make sure those illegal immigrants come over here and get their free health care, free housing, food stamps, and oh my God, they're going to need some cheap tuition because they're not paying taxes. So hence they got the money to pay for some cheap tuition. Hey. Lord knows we don't want to make anyone in this country smarter.
Well, we don't want anybody.
And it's not like they're going to get smarter in the system anyway.
We don't want to make anybody work harder for anything. If we give it to them, then they don't have to work that hard for it, and everybody will be happier. So they're going to, policy us to death, as well as tax us, and
if they would just help us all out one day and just do a typo and say just immigrants, because we're all from immigrants. Well, which generation are we talking about here? What's the vagueness here? I speak a little legalese. Who had to be the immigrant? Well, my family may have come down here like 5 generations ago from Ireland, but they were immigrants. The only problem is that they went through the whole system, but they were still immigrants until the next generation was born.
I don't know. I just don't see a point. You might as well just annex Mexico and be done with it. And just make it, another state. We'll give Puerto Rico statehood.
Well, now you're getting into North American Union territory.
You know what? Tell me that's not where we're going.
That's where we're going anyway, yeah.
I was say, just do it and get it over with.
I think it's one of them things that's already...
It'd be refreshing.
It's one of them things they've already done. They haven't told us yet. Like when the EU celebrated their 50-year anniversary 10 years after everyone thought it was the EU.
It's true.
So,
okay, then why the hell, why can't I just drive down there and go, to a beach for cheap? I gotta go through some big-ass fence.
There's holes in that fence, dude.
Well,
you just gotta look for people.
I would fly in and I gotta get felt up by some weird security guy. Like, no, I'm not, no thanks. I mean, if it's ours, then let's just go there freely.
Hey, I say anyone travel wherever you want. Just make sure when they do touch you, moan as loud as possible.
That's a good one.
Moan.
I bet you get in a lot of trouble for that.
Maybe. I don't know. They didn't need to touch me there either. Maybe I have an ultrasensitivity problem. Maybe I have some hypothyroid problem there that makes my whole body some hormonal issue. Because of all the vaccines and GMO food I've been imbibing for my entire life, and the Hot Pockets and the Jolt Cola. I guess I'm pretty sensitive, man. I'm touch me in the shoulder. Are we really going to go there?
No.
I'm talking to myself.
No. Okay. It's horrible then. So, I don't know. But those are the type of things it's like, it's bothersome to me. That's just really bothersome. I don't know.
The whole immigration issue isn't an issue. We have immigration laws. Enforce them, okay, people? Well, we have this whole selective law, enforcing problem in this country.
Well, I mean,
certain people get affected by it.
Well, certain people have to get through the gates because somebody's got to bring in the CIA's coke. So,
They're called pack mules.
Yeah, we'll let you run around, we'll let you hang around Home Depot. But you got to carry this across the border for us.
That's right. You carry this, and then you get to stand by the loading dock.
We'll tell La Migra to leave you alone.
Yes. Don't worry about INS. They know who you are, Juan. And we do too. And thank you very much for serving our country through yours. In any way we can help you destabilize your country, but we can get more of what you need.
Call us up.
Just give us a call. We'll give you what you need. We'll give us what we need. Just have your people call our people. We'll get it all set up. Just make an appointment with Mrs. Shenanigans over here, and we'll be good. Oh, you don't have a phone? Well, just call us collect. It's fine. Taxpayers pay for it.
Here, you can use this number from any payphone.
If you can find one. How come we always get a phone call from the desk at Holiday Inn Express? Those things are like everywhere. Courtesy phone. Mr. James, you have a line on the courtesy phone.
That would freak me out. If I was ever in a hotel and something like that happened, I'd be like, well, I'm not answering that phone. I'm not doing it.
How'd they find me?
Exactly.
They didn't know. No one knows where I am. I didn't even bring my phone. Then you realize you have a really popular name.
Ooh.
It's like going into a freaking crowd of mall going, oh, we're looking for a Mike. We're looking for a Mike and a Rob. Maybe a Robert. I don't know. He was mumbling on the phone. He sounded drunk.
Is there any drunk?
Maybe he said Mike Rob. I wasn't sure. Maybe it was Mike Roberts. I don't know. But you're not, it's going to be something like that. I don't even know where to go with that. You got like,
it's wrong on a lot of levels.
I'm just going to shut up now. I'm going to play some elevator music for everyone. Okay, I don't have any queued up. Actually, my thing doesn't work right now, so I can't play any clips or anything. I don't have my ghetto clip hooked up because you're using the microphone.
I was right. I'm part of that.
The ghetto clip set up on Just in Time is my phone with the speaker on the other microphone. Because for some reason I can't get this mixer to work, and I also don't have time to give two shits about it either.
There's much more pressing issues in the world.
There is. Like immigration and guys named Rob and Mike.
Or Mike Roberts.
Mike Roberts. That guy right there, man.
Where are we at?
I don't know. Let's go back to immigration for a minute. Now, how many illegals do we have in this country? Does anyone know? Yeah, I didn't think so. Now, why would we want to give them amnesty? All of our ancestors, because I must pretty much say, there ain't too many Native Americans on this venue, or probably listening to us right now. But if you are, good on you, and thanks for tuning in. You've been there the whole time.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to immigration, all of our families had to go through the ancient version of TSA to get here, which is probably a lot less invasive, and there's a lot less rubber gloves and lube involved. Now, why is this an issue? I really want to know why it's an issue. Like, they need to go through the frickin' the chain of command. Like, they need to go.
There is a process there.
Right, exactly. What's so wrong about going through the process? Because I don't like going to DMV and seeing people that shouldn't even be in this country stand there waiting for their driver's license.
Good point. Very good point.
So what if we went on Mexico and we stood in there, whatever they call the Department of Crashing into each other? I've been to Mexico, man. Those guys drive crazy. I don't even think there's a speed limit in Mexico. It's like speed limit is freaking firewall.
So do they even have licenses then?
I don't know. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But my point is,
yes, I know.
If we went down to their country and started trying to get free stuff from them, they would probably start raising a stink.
They just throw you in jail.
Or that too. So I don't agree with illegal immigration. Immigration is fine. I don't care. As many people in this world that wants to come over to this country and go through the process, do it. Do it. It's not that hard. It just takes a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't care if your parents ran across the border a long time ago and made a few of you. It's still illegal in my book.
I agree.
So it drives me crazy. And like I get in arguments with people about it. It's like, well, their families came here. It's like, my family came here too. If I ran to Canada and started making babies up there, does that mean I'm allowed to stay there? Probably not. Of course, if I ran to Canada, there wouldn't be enough people around to know I wasn't from there. I kind of look like them. Yeah. It's easy to hide in Canada.
Yeah.
It's hard to hide in Mexico. It's like trying to hide in Japan,
Yeah. You kind of stick out.
Everyone looks up to you there. Not really. I'm only 5'1.5".
I'd give you 3/4.
Thanks for the self-esteem boost.
Just trying to help, man. Just trying to help.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for helping. It's very self-esteem lifting.
What more do you want from me? What?
I want a hug.
Right now?
No, we'll have to wait till afterwards.
That didn't sound good. Sorry, but I'm going to draw the line right there.
I never said I wanted it from you. I just said I wanted one afterwards. I'm going to have to go hug the cat or something. I'll light my 900 cigarette. You know what the problem with being on radio is? I think I've said this before, is chain smoking for me is a problem on the radio. But, one day I'll get that really deep voice, and I'll be able to do, who's that dude that had a really deep fucking voice that sang those Christmas songs?
Oh, like, Bing
Barry
Crosby.
White.
Barry White.
Barry White.
Yeah,
I got my deep voice, my super deep voice. So that's why I smoke, so I have a future in singing songs. Making money. Peddling all these for-profit holidays.
It's not a bad goal.
It's something better than what I'm doing, man.
Well, I don't know about that, but at least you make a difference.
Might pay more.
Yeah, it definitely would pay more. But I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, they passed a farm bill today.
They did?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would they do a thing like that?
I don't know. Make it look like they were doing something.
Well, they don't do anything.
Some bumper sticker at school today said, politicians and diapers, both need to be changed for the same reason.
Yes, very often, and they smell bad.
Yes.
And they're full of shit.
And he's like, but I wonder, it's like, being at school like that, I was like, I mean, is that just a sticker that you put on your car and it's funny and it's like, haha, but,
Do they really think that way?
Right.
You ever approach someone that has a really provocative sticker on their car? I mean the ones that says stuff like, pull my hair if you're going to ride my ass.
Right. Yeah, like, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. Like the political.
Have you ever walked up to them though and asked them any questions?
Truthfully, no. But usually it's because I'm walking by on the street and their car's like just on a street corner.
The only time I've had a weird conversation, it wasn't about bumper stickers, but it was at a gas station. And I was leaving work and I went to the gas station, I was grabbing my beer. And there was this dude in front of me. And this was right after Newtown. Or no, it was right after Aurora. And this dude was going off about, these high capacity magazines. And I said, he's like, I was in the military. We don't need to have these like civilian world because we have the police force and we have the sheriffs. And I'm like, do you talk to these people often? Probably not. And if you do, you'd be wearing jewelry. And probably jewelry underneath your, hug myself, I love me jacket. So I was talking with this guy and I was like, so how can you think it's okay to take away any amount of capacity magazine? Like, what if, it's like the scenario with the woman that was trying to defend herself, in the closet with a revolver and she shot the guy 6 times and he still came at her. And it's just like, right there, like that right there is a good story for like, having a Beretta with 16 in the mag. Right there.
Yeah.
All by itself. And I was like, if your wife, he's like, oh well, all my house is always protected and I got this and that. And the big argument with him was like, well, no one should be able to have an AR-15 style assault rifle. And I said, well, it's not an assault rifle to begin with. It's called a personal defense weapon. Also, it's called a sporting rifle.
Modern sporting rifle.
Right.
I
don't know about you. I like, if it's like saying we should ban sports cars because they look fast. I've seen plenty of look fast cars that are slower than death, but we're going to ban them all because they look fast.
We ban all Porsche Carreras because Paul Walker died.
That's right. We got to, because he was in the movies and it's
right.
Almost like a bad joke. It's horrible, I actually liked the dude, but he wasn't great in all the movies, but.
But you're right. It's the same thing.
So this guy was trying to freaking explain to me why it was like 30 round mags aren't needed. I'm like, sorry, dude. Like, don't hinder. You don't understand what freedom really is and what the Second Amendment means. You don't tell someone the whole point of freedom is you can't, if you don't mess with them and they don't mess with you, you can do and have whatever you want. Under the Second Amendment, I should be able to have a tank out front.
Awesome.
Should be able to have a tank out front and, a couple, jump jets, but I can't afford them. Howitzer would be sweet. These are the same people that are probably okay with me having a full size, 40-foot trebuchet that can launch Volkswagens at houses. They'll probably be okay with that because it's single shot. If I had a 30-round, semi-automatic Volkswagen magazine on the thing where you could launch 30 at a time within a couple minutes, I'm sure he had a problem with that.
Oh, it's high capacity.
High capacity Volkswagen launcher. Everyone needs one of those. Got plenty of Volkswagens to get rid of too.
Speaking of weaponry, I didn't know that in New York you have to call the gun store to buy ammo. You have to call ahead
in New York.
I think you have to call ahead to buy ammo, and you can only buy so much at a time, and it's something really and they have to call it it's really strange about the way you have to buy ammo. I don't remember exactly, but yeah. So that's just another thing that, that those people, I hear things, pertaining to Newtown and stuff a year after, and we still don't have any legislation that has changed anything and blah, blah, blah. It's well, good, because it's already too strangling as it is.
Honestly, I would never move to New York, man.
No.
Now with all these new gun laws and stuff, I wouldn't move there before. No offense to anyone that lives in New York, JJ Jules, I think you guys lived there your whole lives. I couldn't live there. Nope. I just couldn't, man. No way in hell would I be stuck with a revolver or a really awesome pistol that holds I have a pistol that holds 19 rounds. I'd be really disappointed to have to stuff 7 in it and be like, we're good. That 8th one's gonna get you thrown in jail. And you're gonna get butt probed and you're gonna have all kinds of issues. And if you don't, and like I was hearing Connecticut, they're extending their period of time to register all assault weapons and register all the high capacity magazines. Why the hell?
Wait, what do you mean, to buy or to?
No, you have to register your magazines and your assault rifles in Connecticut. To register them. And they did the math, there was 40,000 rifles, or no, it's 30,000 rifles are registered and 40,000 magazines. That was it. And there's a lot more in that state. Oh, well, now we're gonna extend it because apparently you sheep out there didn't get the message. It was going to come down to registering slingshots soon. And Jersey, you got to register your freaking air rifle.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
You have to register?
There was a kid that got arrested for shooting an air rifle at a rubber duck in his backyard. It wasn't even an air rifle. I think it was an airsoft gun.
But all right, that's
the brain out the window these days. People have no control. They have no control over what they're being told and how to make their brain work critically. Is this wrong? Is this right? How did we do it back when we were kids? It's just all in the last few years. And no one's thinking about, they're thinking, now it's a whole different world. And it's just, no, it's not really. We're perceiving the world a lot differently, but the world actually that we live in this country is only changed by the draconian laws and the forceful TSA post 9/11 bull crap. That's what that's what we're brainwashed. So now it's all about everyone's a terrorist. So, that's why when I lived in Montpelier, if I was gonna go to your place to go shooting, man, and I had the AR, I had to wrap that thing up in sweatshirts and put it in a duffel bag because of, answer for me.
Wait, what?
When I was going to your place with the AR, I didn't have a case for it, so I couldn't just walk outside with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, where I live now, I can walk. If I don't walk outside with it, people are gonna call me names, man. When I went to the gun store to actually buy the thing. I went to the gun store, I bought the rifle, and I asked the guy, do you sell any cases for this? And he goes, well, we do, but they're really pricey. And I was like, well, I can't really, I already dumped a lot of money down on this.
Yeah.
I go, well, I live in Montpelier, dude. Like, I can't just walk in the house. He's, oh, it's good for your neighbors. I'm like, it's good for them, I'm sure. They get a chance to call the police on me. There's a crazy guy in that apartment over there. He got an assault rifle. He must be doing some nefarious things with that. I'm more scared of people that live in that town driving a Prius or one of those Volts. I'm more scared of them because they have a cell phone with like cops on speed dial 1.
I'm more scared of just anybody in any town just driving with a cell phone in their hand. Like that just scares me enough. I've followed a guy on the way over to pick you up after work. It was all over the road. And why? Because I could see his right hand
texting
the whole time. It's like, and he's like, looked like a drunk driver.
They have this thing out there. It's a program called Voice to Text. Try it. If you absolutely have to text. I don't like texting all that much. It's easier to get a hold of you because you have no service half the time.
Well, no.
But texting is so impersonal to begin with. But if you want to get your point across, it's easier to talk to someone, is it not?
Oh, much.
What's this whole interaction thing we're getting away from? Even if, like, it started with the phone, so now we don't actually have to look at each other. Shit, we don't want to do that. I've seen me in the mirror. Sometimes, woo! Yeah, I don't even want to look at myself. But I can't call myself. I'm stuck with myself. Anyway, like we can't talk with each. Like it's like then we talk with each other, but we don't look at each other. Now it's like we don't even talk with each other. Now we just text, and now we're beyond that. We're not even texting. We're Facebooking, or Twittering, or tweeting, or bull. I don't know. I don't do any of that crap.
The loss of personal connection. We talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Talk about it all the time.
I know. It's like I'm saying. Just it's like everybody coming up now is like, I think they're losing those social skills and everybody's becoming awkward. So, I see it in teenagers. It's like,
oh, it's bad, man.
Like they have no social graces, they don't know how to talk to each other. It's like, they're just socially awkward. It's just.
You're saying the next generation is probably going to not breed so much because they can't, stand in the same room together. It's going to make a program like in a Demolition Man where like they put the helmet on, connect to the network, and that's the way they physically interact. We're going to have a whole bunch of like internet babies. It's going to be like, what was that freaking, remember like it must have been like the late 90s, early 2000s. There was those little pet things, the game that you had to feed.
The Gigapet.
Yeah, those things. Yeah. Is the Gigapet going to go to the next step, the nano internet pet, where like it's going to actually not be the pet, it's going to be your internet child? Like, oh, we're together through Facebook and some dude in a closet and like some woman on the other side of the planet in her closet and they have this internet family and they probably already have that shit. I don't know. I'm like stuck in a hole here. I live somewhere near the real world in Barstow. It probably already is out there. I don't know. Oh, dude. It really is getting that bad. It was the little kid at work. I've been giving him crap. He's like, I've been talking with this girl. I'm like, really? You've been talking with her? Well, we've been messaging on Facebook. I said, you've been messaging on Facebook, huh? I'm like, have you seen her? Like, well, I went to her house once, but her dad had a gun. He was making a point. He just was walking around with it while he was there, which I think is pretty funny. I think I would probably do that too if my 14 or 15-year-old daughter had a boyfriend-ish suitor showing up on the porch just to make a point, don't do nothing. So they just like text message. So he like asked her out, right? He like asked her out. I was like, so did you call her? He goes, no, I text messaged her. I'm like, you asked her out by text message. He goes, yeah. And again she said, he goes, no. I'm like, yeah, cause you text messaged her. Like, you don't ask out anyone. Like, that's that whole personal interaction. It's gone away. How can you connect with someone or how can you try to like, convey any kind of emotion or liking or hating or anything, through a text message? Yeah. There's no like, I love you button. There's the caps button, which means screw you.
It means I'm angry.
I'm very angry. So anyway, the kid's gonna try again. But I said, you need to do this in person. He was like, well, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, well, you gotta figure it out. That's how everyone did it before you. That's why you're here. If they didn't figure it out before, this new technology is not gonna help you now.
I passed notes. That's how I used to ask girls.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Remember love notes?
Oh, yeah.
Anyone in chat, you remember love notes? Remember writing a love note to the girl, the dude you liked, and you're like writing all this stuff with the X's and the O's and the little hearts, and you folded it up all freaking stupid so you couldn't, like, you ripped half of it while you opened it up. Do you remember those days? Yeah, me too. None of these kids nowadays even know what a love note is. They know what a text message is, which is a whole bunch of like short, abbreviated half words.
They send naked pictures of themselves to each other.
Oh, there's that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was the whole thing at a local high school.
Yeah.
That was really messed up, man. It was really messed up. These girls, like this whole group of girls, were sending nude pictures to their boyfriends, and their boyfriends were trading those pictures like baseball cards. And the messed up part, I think both, like, not only was that messed up, but the other messed up part was there was like 30 girls involved with their 42 boyfriends.
Have to do the math.
Like, what does that say about our society too? It's like, really? 42 boyfriends? Like, we need to take that freaking 16 and pregnant show off the freaking TV. We need to take all these Paris Hilton things. I don't even know who's famous and annoying right now, but I'm going to list off stuff that's definitely probably way past and old school and gone, and it's only actually been gone for 6 months. I don't know. But we need to get rid of that crap. Or at least in our own personal houses, if you're lucky enough to have a family and a wife and kids, turn the TV, take the TV away. No TV. Done. Shut it off. Leave them with just the internet so you can at least put parental blocker on it. So they're only allowed to go to like Google and certain Wikipedia entries. And that's it. Maybe some YouTube cat videos, and that's it. Which are a lot of fun, by the way. Cats are crazy. But that's way better than like letting them sit there with the old dumb remote control going click, 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 click. And they spent 3 hours hitting the channel up button. Mm-hmm. And what do they get? They get a whole bunch of shit reality TV shows. They get something that is still called MTV, but resembles nothing of it.
It makes their ADD worse because they're watching 30
seriously
like, 2-minute segments of everything. So,
like ADD just should be reclassified as straight up boredom.
well, go outside. Go outside and play. Like that's what you're bored. Go outside. Go find something to do. That's what I was told.
And when I hit like 12, I didn't want to be inside.
We used to make guns out of sticks and play like war in the backyard. But
nowadays, the cops would drive by, stop, and start shooting at you.
Right?
He had a gun. And be like one of the like in the town I grew up with, which is not much different than South Park. Like, you coming right for us? We're shoot him, man.
Oh.
It's that bad.
It is.
So, like, you can't even play as a kid anymore. We used to, like, play Spotlight every freaking weekend, man.
We used to play Jailbreak. They'd have, like, the whole neighborhood playing. Like, there'd be, like, 20 kids and they're just running around.
And that's where you interact. That's where you meet these connections. That's where you get these girlfriends. And this is where this is all coming back to. This is what I started with. I swear I remember. I swear I remember what I was talking about. So, like, these text messages and Facebook and all this crap should just be blocked. It should be blocked. As a parent of your own free will and freedom to do so on your family. If you don't feel you need to, fine. I'm not going to tell you have to. But I'm just giving you my opinion. Should be. Facebook is a cancer. Plus, it's also a tool for law enforcement to figure out what you did last weekend and IRS to figure out that, you can't afford that new shiny car, so you must be hiding something. So you're being audited this year.
Well, you're just voluntarily giving up everything right there. I mean, I know you don't have to put in certain information, but they want certain. I would, no, thank you. Bad enough I have a phone.
Yeah, it's bad enough. I got the one thing, one tracking device I have is my phone.
Well, and you need it. So
it's sad.
Yeah. But,
you need to have it.
Hell in a handbasket, man. Hell in a handbasket.
There ought to be, I think there'd be a real good market for like a 100% secure phone. I think like if someone could actually develop it on a private network, like not like use the network, encrypted network, I should say. And through a company that, no matter what, would not give in to any of the spy agencies, would be a really big sell. It'd be easy to sell.
Yeah.
Seriously. Be completely open and forthright with your customers and not with anyone else.
But wouldn't over time so many people be on that it would lose its effectiveness?
No, I don't think it would. Unless someone hacked it and infiltrated it. That would be the only way, I think. If you did it right. I'm not a computer techie. I'm a car techie.
No, I understand. No.
All I can tell you how to do is make your car autonomous. Well, not autonomous, anonymous, I mean. Like, I can help you make your car anonymous. Buy something 95 and older. There, done. Easy. Done. Easiest way for anything. Just get something old. And from down south. Or like out west.
Rust free.
Rust free. There you go. That's all I really got. But I can throw out some ideas, you know. If someone came out with like the Freedom Phone or something, you know, where it was just their network was completely encrypted. The problem is you could only talk on that network. That would be the problem.
Right.
And you'd have to convince all your friends and family to get the same network, but you could also, you know, incentivize by adding a line or adding a friend, you know, kind of like some of the cell phone networks do, where like, you know, oh, well, you get free long distance if you pick X number of people that are on the same network, ring and network things.
Right.
Could use the same thing as a selling point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good point. I like that idea.
You know?
It would just be bad for us in Vermont because we already have crappy cell coverage, so.
Yeah. You know, my dad's a not a cell phone, but a telecommunications contractor designer thing for cell towers and stuff out in the West. So, like, he probably had some connections. Of course, we're never going to do that around here anyway.
I'll say.
We have to put up a bunch of private radio towers.
I'll say, if some company wanted to. No, actually, no, I don't think I would.
I wouldn't. You know,
I don't know. But
they pay well. They pay well.
They pay well, so it's like, you know, you could use that to. You could build like a little fence around it and just cut it out of your property. You know what I mean? It's like on your property, you get paid for it, but give them access and that's it. Like one little path.
Yeah. Landmines around it. You know, you're not allowed past this, okay?
Don't go past the chain link fence. I wouldn't advise it.
You don't even need to actually put them there. You just put a bunch of signs every like 6 feet, like everywhere, you know. Caution! Bouncing Betties everywhere. And no, I'm not talking about any pinups from the 40s either. No.
That would be, anyway, you know.
So we're coming up on the end of the first hour.
Well, we made it.
We made it. Oh my God, ramble session. Ramble. Here we are. Hope everyone's having a good time in Radio Land. Ears pressed up against the speaker. Wondering why we're so quiet. And the answer is turn your speaker up. So if anyone wants to call in, it's 718-717-8296. We got one more hour to go. And, I can start talking in my easy listening voice, or I can get in my...
Do your John Tesh.
John Tesh?
He's like a radio guy.
No, I'm not gonna do easy listening by the river. Now we're gonna be playing some Kenny G. No, not doing that. Sorry.
That was pretty good, though.
I can fake it, but, you know. I don't have much experience doing that.
All right. Enough of that.
Oh, man.
What's bugging you? What else is out there? I feel like we've gone
everywhere.
Vast areas this evening.
Not a whole lot bugging me today. Been a mellow, you know, I did a nice little relief session on Thursday. For anyone listening, I was doing a human version of a blow-off valve. Venting to the atmosphere. But there is, you know, I still want to go back to we can go back to the good news of the end of the year that, you know, Vermont Yankee's not going to be refueled, and we're going to continue to argue about how nuclear fuel is not a really good idea, but, you know, we can do that.
We can, sure, why not?
Sure.
They're just arguing over money right now. But
everyone's, this whole world, let's just go to that instead. Screw it. Everyone's arguing about money. It's money. In your private life, in the political freaking stage, across the world. It's money. Now, if we want to, let's just do this. We'll fix all the world's problems. We'll just outlaw money. Let's get rid of it.
Barter and trade.
Barter and trade.
Okay.
I'll take 2 pelts and a box of bullets for that, big loaf of bread and those 2 chunks of cheese, please. Because that's not even satisfying for a lot of people these days. They'd have to have like some like pate or something to go along with that, And they'd be trading like an old broken cell phone and
more
a
like
PS3.
Cheerio or Chips Ahoy, That's.
I got friends that would take Chips Ahoy for almost anything. Chocolate is a good trading bartering device or convincing device.
Good thing to stock up
the
on.
guy at work. Hey, Trav, can you do this real quick for me? Well, I'll buy you lunch. And lunch for him is like a chocolate milk, 2 brownies, and a cookie. Everyone's got their vices, man.
Yep.
He don't like cigarettes, beer, or coffee, so he's done the chocolate route. Isn't that weird how people have those weird connections to certain things?
Yeah. Well, I have a weird connection with beer. I just can't seem to not drink beer when it's around.
Good stuff.
I like beer. Beer's a good friend.
You're drinking tea tonight.
I am. It's supposed to snow. Driving in the snow. No.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun snow tonight. They say 4 to 8.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go down the road on my bald-ass tire car.
Well,
see if I can stay on the road again.
Oh, it comes back to the fact that you didn't have any money because you don't get paid the equivalent amount of work that you put in.
So the amount of tires cost. The price of everything.
Well, that's
just the price of everything. Back to money. Exactly. Set of tires. Set of dirt cheap tires. $450. Yeah. Then I have to put them on. And if I was someone else, regular people have to pay someone to put them on.
Well, then you need, for where we live up here, you need a set for the summer too.
Right. You get
so
two
sets.
That's $900 for the year.
Right. And you got to do that every
year and a half, 2 years.
3 years. If you're good about it, 3 years.
You don't drive 6 years like my bald tires.
But it comes back to people for money. And, the guy that owns the business wants to make money. Good. Okay. That's what the point of a business is. But, at the price of cheaping out on your labor, you could probably make more money if you paid your guys better and kept them around and kept them happy, and then you could get more business. And, it's just, it's like you say, it all comes back to money being, you should outlaw it. I just don't know how we could trade bottle caps.
There we go. Go Fallout style. Everyone trades bottle caps. I got plenty of bottle caps. Got a small stash. Been saving them up, man. That's the next metal to save, man. Bottle caps. And it's not because of the tin around. It's that little squishy stuff that seals it in the middle.
The squishy.
That's the currency's bottle caps, man. I'll tell you, a Guinness bottle cap's worth way more than a Budweiser.
You could have different
yeah, there we go. The new monetary system, bottle caps, and
there'd be a lot of money out there. A lot of different denominations.
But the great thing about money is everyone's just got to agree on it, right?
Yep.
That's it. Doesn't even have to be backed with anything. Look at the frickin' look at the monopoly money we play with now. Can't even burn it right. You could almost start a fire with it if you tried, but you need a lighter to begin with first.
Si, senor.
But with everything costing more. It costs more and more every year, every month, every week now. I just have my propane tank filled. And that's an eye-opener. Yeah. It's an eye-opener when they fill your tank. And especially when I filled it in November. And it was 384 gallons, and it was, what did I say before, $1,280?
Yeah.
It's about $1,280 to fill that tank from 80 gallons. To full. It's a 500-gallon tank. It's been how many weeks? 10 weeks?
Yeah, about that.
About 10 weeks?
Yeah.
I burned 310 gallons. I need to set my thermostat at 0 in order to get by for the rest of the year. Because they're going to hit me again, and now the fuel that I'm paying for right now is $4.50 a gallon.
And there's a shortage, right?
And it is shortage. According to Suburban Propane out of New Jersey, because we trust them to be honest.
Well, so,
I trust every corporation to be honest, especially fuel company. like $4.50 a gallon? Are you freaking
There's a
kidding
fuel
me?
shortage so that they could increase demand because they'll make everybody run low and then everybody's going to need it and they'll release a little, just enough to get everybody through and then they're going to jack the price a little bit more and make more money. Like to me, that's what they're doing.
Well, the smart people did the pre-buy back in the fall at $2.60 a gallon. The smart people did. But who, how much fuel does anyone really know they're going to need for the winter? If we had a mild winter, but we didn't have a mild winter this year.
No, and we're not
Hell
done
no.
yet. And
We're not done yet. Yeah, we're going back into that 0 to -10 mode here pretty soon. Now we're going to get our fresh coat of white stuff tonight to make sure everything looks pretty again and Christmassy. Yay. Everything looks clean. That's like the only thing I like about
it. Makes it look better at least.
That's the only thing I like about snow. Covers everyone's, broken
bumpers.
down.
There's like, you know what I've noticed? I drive on the highway a lot. There's like 25 bumpers between exit 8 and 9. Like, literally.
Sitting on the side of the road.
They're
Everyone's
all over the
smashing
place.
into each other.
I tell you who's liking this winter. Body shops.
Oh,
Body
that's
shops
a good.
are making a killing this winter.
That's a good point. So anyone out there that's got a body shop, definitely advertise on the interstate.
Can't do that here.
We can't advertise at all.
Where?
Well, to a certain extent.
Not outdoors.
There are no billboards in the state of Vermont. Thank you very much. And I am proud to say that. I can't stand billboards. When you're not in Vermont when there's...
Yeah, 2 minutes after, 2.2 seconds after you get across the border, there's a big old billboard right there.
Not even 2 minutes, dude. When I went to go see JJ, like the second I got across the line, it was billboard! And I was like, okay, I must be in New York now.
Yep.
Same when you hit New Hampshire, you get on that bridge,
Bang.
on the other side of that bridge, like, if they could put one in the middle of the bridge, they would.
I'm sure they would. Sure they would.
Might be a distraction though, 'cause it is a bridge.
Oh. Well, no, it shouldn't be anymore because the cars are going to drive themselves. So
That's true. We can all sit around and stare at all the billboards. Maybe that's part of maybe the advertising lobby's got something to do with the self-driving cars.
It's more, I think it's more, it gives you more time to text and Facebook while you're in your car because people already do that. And they have to worry about driving. Driving gets in the way of Facebooking and texting. So, that's why we need the autonomous car.
You're driving down the interstate in my 1993 car, driving down there looking at everyone staring at their phone. I'm like, oh man, I'm glad their cars can drive themselves at this point. It's epidemic.
I bet you would get outlawed off the road. I bet you.
There probably would be a point to where there's no grandfathering old cars in.
No,
Like, oh well, you have to have the black box and the self-drive car.
Right. You have to have all these doodads in.
I heard somewhere somewhere in Europe, either in all of the EU or in certain countries, they're thinking about retrofitting older cars with the tracking stuff and all that crap in them. And well, I guess that's a couple wires I'd have to cut if I lived there.
Oh, but then they'd show up on your doorstep and tow your car away. Be like, oh, there was a problem.
It's gonna be a whole black market for untapped cars.
Ooh,
Seriously.
We should start buying.
When you think about it.
We should start buying.
Every time they outlaw something, there's some kind of black market that gets formed. And when they start making, cars that are A, track, and B, self-drive, there's going to be a whole new market for, 71 freaking Camaros that are all, they got three wires, a power ground, and then they got fuel, and that's it. And sometimes they have an exhaust in the driver's seat, not always. But there's gonna be this underground, and it's gonna be a whole bunch of people freaking outrunning these self-drive cop cars because they can't go any faster than the car lets them.
Yeah, but all they would have to do is program all the autonomous cars to just block your path. So what you really need is an old truck that you can just crush these cars with.
Gonna get one of them. What was that dude's name in the Road Warrior? The big dude was his name Humongous or something.
Yep. Oh, the guy with the big
just walk away. That guy. He's got that freaking big rig with the plow from
the cow chaser from the front of a train.
Yeah, just have that. You can. It's kind of like an icebreaker for the highway.
I'm totally down.
Because all the cars you run into are like Priuses and Volts anyway. They're gonna go right off the road.
Yeah, they're gonna make cars disintegrate.
Did you see what that Leaf did? It flipped 6 times. You'd be doing bets in the back of the thing while you're driving down the interstate. How many times can we get this thing to flip?
Then the prices will go up in the underground black market because it's money driven. So
well, also
or
the price of
supply
cars are going
driven.
to go up too in general because of this. As they add more shit to cars, like it goes up and up and up and up, and then
People don't care.
they don't more
Blindly-
gadgets.
They're just blindly following along. Just la-di-da, la-di-da. We're just doing the thing. It's okay. It's okay. It'll be better tomorrow. It's okay. Yeah, I'll just take another Prilosec or Prozac, and I was going to say Prilosec, but that's for your...
That's for another problem.
Yeah. Take their Prozac, whatever, and do their day. It's just, I don't know. It's a sad state.
Apparently Humongous wasn't the dude. I can't remember what his name was. Anyway, the dude from, you guys know who I'm talking about. I haven't watched that movie in a while, which I'm going to have to do a little Road Warrior Mad Max-a-thon here pretty soon. You're invited over, James, by the way.
That would be interesting.
You should bring the tactical nurse with you.
Tactical nurse. I like that. Yeah, you almost, no. Alright, so, I could find out, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's not even that important. But if anyone wants to call in, again, it's 718-717-8296. We would love to have a three-way conversation here. Or not. Either way, it's fine. We're just out here on Radio Land talking in our soft, easy listening voice.
I think you're just taking it easy because your little relief session last Thursday there.
I gotta step back every now and then. I can't be off the wall all the time.
No, I understand that, and that's a good thing. I'm just saying you're just giving everybody out there a little bit of break on their ears.
That's right. I was a little loud. Man, there's echoing in here in the treehouse. The holy treehouse.
But it was very well spoken.
I don't mean holy in a religious way. I just mean like it leaks like a sieve, obviously, with 310 gallons being burned up in frickin' 10 weeks. My God. My old house that frickin' ran on fuel oil that was built in 1942 wasn't even this bad.
Really?
Really?
Oh, see, I didn't have to pay for heat when I lived in that building, so it was...
That house was wicked bad.
Well,
Tactical nurse paid for a lot of my fuel.
probably.
Well, her heat was always on. Heat rises.
Yes, I know.
I think the floor vents went right up.
It's like you had a heated floor.
So, I don't know, where do we go from here? We got a whole 48 minutes to go, man.
48? Wow.
48. A good nice round number.
Sorry, I'm a product of the 1980 education system
Where can we go?
where it started there. I actually graduated in 2000.
Well, you don't have any like new Vermont history to throw down?
What do you want to know? Give me something to talk about. I don't know. I can pluck things out of my head, but, it's like, who else is going to find that interesting? That's, I don't know.
Well, have you guys done anything with like...
I'm not in Vermont history this semester.
You're not?
No, that was just a one semester class.
Oh.
Yeah.
See how much I pay attention. I'm a horrible friend.
Yeah.
I should take myself out and beat me with a shovel and a small rubber hose.
No, you can't do that because the cops will come and shoot you.
It's only if someone calls. And if I'm waving around frantically. Which I don't do often.
No, just in the privacy of your own home.
Well, every now and then you get to storm around your house, waving a shovel, ranting. And you just gotta make sure you do it inside. Cops see people wandering around with shovels. Shovels, the assault shovels out there these days are so bad. They are.
Assault shovels.
You can sharpen the edges of them.
Don't they?
You can put a 30-round magazine on them if you want to look stupid. Duct tape it right to the side. So, I don't know. I don't know where to go.
Yeah, I'm kind of...
We do have a gun show to go to this weekend. We talked about that last week a little.
I can't wait to go.
It's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's a 2-day event. We're going to go to the gun show. We're going to have a little bonfire afterwards. right?
Yep.
Bonfire.
Yep.
Sweet.
Cook some food.
Cook some food, and then we're going to have a little bit of a shooting session.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, I think everyone out there should do that every once in a while, especially like gun show weekend is the best way to do it. It's kind of like when major sporting events happen not in the middle of winter. I'm sure across other non-winter, you know, screwed states during the Super Bowl, like the kids are everyone, you know, having some beers and grilling and playing a little touch football out back. It's kind of the same idea. So, you know, when a gun show comes up, you know, that sounds like a grilling weekend to me. Go to the gun show, bring the whole family, you know, wear your nose protector because it gets really BOE smelly in there, especially if you have a small auditorium like we go to. And go around and see what they got, man. They got some crazy stuff. You can see what they and like, you know, I'm not an advocate for the military, but when you go to their booth, they always have a Barrett.
They have the cool stuff.
They have like the Barrett and all. Oh man, you can't touch it or anything, but you look at the thing, you're like, how the hell? Like, you obviously don't carry this thing around. But they're so awesome looking. You don't usually see stuff like that out, like, you know, in the open very often. No. Especially in the middle of nowhere like we live.
Yep.
So like seeing something like that, you're just like, holy.
Well, it's like the one they have at the store. The one that's
on display only.
Yeah. Well, no, it's got a price tag.
Well, no one's gonna buy it.
It's got a price tag on it though. Somebody will. Somebody eventually will. It'll come down a little bit, but it's like seeing that. I mean, I do like staring at that gun.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend. It'll be fun. Just go wander around like we did last time.
Yeah, we went to one booth.
Shuffle.
We went to one booth. I don't know if you remember. You probably remember. We had one booth. This dude had a gun. It wasn't for sale. This one was not for sale because I don't even know what the reason was, but it was not purchasable. But he had this little like it was like a 20-inch 30-30. Remember that? He had it was like a 30-30 rifle, but it was so small. It was it was like 2 feet tops. It was like a pocket 30-30. Like something you could like duct tape to your side and be like, this is my concealed carry. It's like, well, that's a rifle, dude. Not really. I wonder if it actuates like Terminator 2 where he like, you know, flipped it upside down, you know, with the shotgun. You know. I looked at it like, I want to shoot that. I bet you that thing kicks like a bastard.
You think?
And it's like have two people holding onto it while you shoot it.
You have to lean up against a tree.
You feel like, I only bought this gun until I feel like a giant, you know. Holding it up to your shoulder, you're pretending you're like, you know, Andre the Giant, you know. Can't even look down the sights. Everything is so small. You just like point and shoot. Sounds like a lot of fun to me, actually. I like weird stuff like that. Weird stuff like that. Also, I'd like to shoot like from Demolition Man. Dennis Leary had that like hand double barrel shotgun that was like 4-inch barrel. It was like a double. Yeah, that what we call like a wrist breaker and also a forehead breaker at the same time. You pull the trigger, you break your wrist, then your forehead. They definitely had underpowdered loads in that thing for that movie.
I bet you somebody went out and tried that.
You know they did. They saw it on TV. Well, Mom, I saw it on TV, so I thought it was a good idea. And meanwhile, Dad's out back getting a belt and like, you know, boy, you don't do that to my shotgun ever again. Because that's usually how it happens, you know. You see something on TV, what's the kids do first? Ruin your dad's or your mom's stuff.
Yeah, well, it's the nearest stuff.
They have it, we don't.
Exactly. How else am I supposed to experiment?
Yeah, how much money you cost me growing up?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to target practice with my commemorative Babe Ruth signed baseball. Sorry, Dan. I saw someone on TV shoot a baseball. That was the only one I could find on your nightstand, on that, you know, locked cage with the laser beams around it. Security system.
I think you just unknowingly referenced the movie.
Did I?
Yeah.
What movie?
Sandlot. Where they where they hit the Babe Ruth baseball over the fence.
That's right. Yeah. I actually had
Dennis Leary in it.
And James Earl Jones.
Yep.
Darth Vader was a black dude. Who'd have thought? He was cool, man.
He was just Darth Vader's voiceover.
I love that dude.
They downloaded a new one every week.
You know, speaking of voiceovers and doing some weird, I'm gonna go on a different tangent now.
Good.
Yeah, you know, that whole George Carlin, we don't do segues. One day, I'm gonna have like a week off, and I'm gonna go on my computer, and I'm gonna download every single Bill Cooper. This is a tangent, everyone, so don't think I'm talking about anything that's pertinent. Every single Bill Cooper freaking audio file I can find, and I'm gonna take clips. I'm gonna program it into like hotkeys, so it says a clip whenever I want. And I'm gonna call into AJ's show, and I'm going to torment him. Yeah, because he does. Bill Cooper haunts me from the grave. Well, I think that'd be really funny to do.
That would be awesome.
like a. See what happens on air. Probably get cut off.
I would say they wouldn't let it go. They wouldn't let that go.
Yeah, they use like a 1 minute delay, so they have plenty of time to go, nope! You're done. Back to selling our mayonnaise. Bullhorns. What's up, Kitty? You got something to add to the conversation? Yeah? No, she's got nothing. No. I really don't know where to go. This is like one of the first time I'm speechless. I could like amp myself up and start screaming, but I'd just be saying the same stuff I said last week.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that.
No,
there's no point. There's no point. You gotta move forward, move on. You know, move on to the next thing that pisses me off. Let it go and move on.
Till the next time it builds
up. There's not too much right now that's irritating me other than the fact that we're not doing anything. Not we, but like there's no fixing of this country at all when it comes to Congress. They're like a single digit like acceptance rate of them doing good or bad.
What was that comment I heard earlier?
I don't know.
At the shop, dude's dad.
The dude at work said, his dad said, this is his dad, he says this, he goes, we're so far gone in this country to where we can't fix it within the system and it's too early to start waving our guns around.
Yeah.
And I guess he's right to a certain extent. I personally don't believe, like I was saying last week, you're gonna tie me right into that. There is no middle ground, there's no high ground, there's no low ground, there's just the ground we stand on. And we're at the point to where if we were to wave our guns around, we're gonna get killed. If we stand in front of anything trying to prove our point, like,
get run over.
We're gonna get run over. So we're not only we're like backed into a corner, we're backed in the corner, handcuffed behind our back with, hogtied with our mouth gagged. So where do we go from here? Do we try to hop out of the corner and see if we can maintain our balance for long enough before, we get to the wet paint, or what? What do you think? What's your opinion?
Pull out the hidden knife out of your, well, no, you probably won't. But I don't, it's like I thought about it, a few times over the weekend and everything, and that's a hard question because it's the stranglehold that's upon all these things that control us it's a stranglehold. They're not letting go. And, they might give us a little something, give you a little something to appease us, but in the end, they're not letting go. So it's just living within that reality. What else?
Look at like in the Ukraine, they have this huge protest going on right now. It's, pitchforks and, torches. Mm. And they're standing their ground. So, is that gonna happen here at all? And we always go back to this, like, well, what's it gonna take? And is it,
everybody's gotta go to work because they gotta, pay for their phone plans.
We're still so brainwashed. Like, there's still a job to go to. But there's enough of us where there's no job to go to.
Okay, so I guess that would be a point. Like a massive.
But you can't feed your kids.
I would say a massive food shortage or a job shortage, like those are two things that could, but other than that, you know, or maybe a national, like, internet blockage, like they just, you know, shut down.
They're already
the web.
throttling back the internet as it is anyway, like, it's just,
I don't know, I think an internet blockage might piss off more people quicker. You know what I mean?
just block all the porn sites. Just block all the porn sites for Revolution overnight. And it's just gonna be a whole bunch of dudes running around with, like, you know, hairy palms and tripping over their pants. You took my internet away! And what are they really gonna get done? No, they're not gonna, like, high five afterwards, I can tell you that. That's not very viable. No, not very
you
viable.
pose an interesting question though. It's like,
there's no, we're in between, but there's no.
What can be done? I mean, what and how? I don't, you know, it's.
Like, here's an analogy. Usually in any situation, I'll give a visual analogy. Like, you walk into a room. And there's 3 doors. You got 3 choices of where you go next. You know, bad, neutral, good. Like, you know, each door. Like, this is a good idea. This is it kind of doesn't really hurt or make anything any better, but and there's the bad door. Like, right now, we walked into that same room and there's just a door behind us. That's what I'm feeling. Like, we're just like in an empty room. Like, we walked into a round room. We walked into a freaking mirror maze. And we're just kind of wandering around in there, dripping on acid, trying to figure out why all these mirrors are messing with us.
Bullshit, I say. That's pretty good. I like it, but so do we start breaking mirrors? Freak out enough and break mirrors?
Well, isn't like breaking mirrors like pretty much saying like rioting? Like, that's not good either. I'm not promoting. I don't want to promote any violence or any rioting or.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
But like I can't promote like working in the system either because that's also fruitless. Like, we're standing underneath a fruitless tree in the middle of summer, starving, looking up, going like, "Anytime, drop an apple, just one. I will slice it into 900 pieces and feed everyone around me." You know, we just need Jesus from South Park to show up, you know, and start throwing bread and fish out of his cart, you know. Turn around. Turn around. All right, you can turn around. Like, that's a Jesus miracle right there. Just turn around, I'll do the miracle, then you can turn to look. And it's a game like that. It's all a game. Are we playing the game? Are we winning the game? Are we losing the game? Does anyone want to call in and, like, tell us whether or not we're winning, losing, or we're stagnant?
Losing. I think we're losing. Every day.
I think
we're losing ground.
I think we're stagnant and losing ground at the same time. I think we as a population are just.
So you mean we're not progressing?
We're not progressing at all.
Right. So
I don't feel that way.
We're staying right where we're at and we're losing ground.
Right. Like, okay. You know, there's a lot more alternative stuff, you know, news being put out there, and, you know, a lot of people like Jules and all the people on the network, like, throwing out these articles that are not being covered anywhere else, and on other networks doing the same thing, covering articles that aren't being thrown anywhere else. But that's great. That's great that we know what's going on. But we don't have any kind of system to digest it and use it in a very productive manner. It's right now we're just collecting knowledge.
So, okay. Yeah, no, I agree with you. So how do we organize something to implement ideas? Like, how do you organize a loose collection?
I don't
know.
It's
like herding cats.
You see, like, the conundrum, what sticks in my brain as a problem is a lot of people like to advocate, well, we need to, you know, have more websites to cover these certain subjects, and we need to link them to these other networks and like Twitter and like Facebook and get the word out. This is the first time I've done this one. By the way, when I mean that, I'm putting my elbow over the microphone like it's my friend. But when you advocate for more social media like that, you're also simultaneously advocating for more sitting in front of your screen doing nothing. At the same time, you're literally like putting out the same amount of effort.
What is that loop called? There's a name for that loop.
The infinity loop?
Yeah. I mean, there's another.
I know there's a name for it, but it's just goes just cycling right back into yourself.
Right.
Like you're saying, we need to break free from this, but yet we need to use this to our advantage, yet we're still stuck in the same loop.
Yep. It's like the Hot Wheels car that doesn't come off the track. You're just stuck. Because remember how they used to have the little plastic sidewalls?
Yeah.
It's
so, like what?
It's depressing. Sorry. No, I was gonna say it's just like thinking about it in those terms. It's like,
well, I've been thinking about it really. Like
No,
that's what I came up to a conclusion with. My conclusion is yes, we can go out there on the internet and inform everyone about every little piece of news out there, and form networks and groups and everything. But if people don't do anything about it, like physically in the real world, if they don't unplug and get out there and start doing stuff, like then it's all for naught.
Agreed.
You know, we're sitting there with our front wheel brake lock on, spinning the rear tires, wondering why the gas gauge is going down. And I make up all these analogies as I talk.
I know.
It's not like I plan any of this. I don't plan much in my life anymore.
It's frustrating as well to once you make that realization that you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, and these are very good tools to use, but it's like you say, advocating for more screen time to take that knowledge in. So where's the end point of that? Where do you draw the line and say, okay, this is where we need to start being active activists or whatever.
Or even they don't have to be activists.
Well, but that's part of like the definition of active. You have to be a physical part of that. So where do you draw the line and start doing marches like Occupy was on a pretty good path, I think, to a point. It's like, like things of that nature, like where, I don't know. I don't have the time to go do that though, because I'm trapped in the system of having to pay for where I live, and
you're right. I think a lot of the people on the Occupy movement had nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
And that plays a big factor in it. They really did get to their wits' end and literally their financial end. I guess, I've been contemplating, leaving my job to start my own thing. My own little business. Be it whatever, just working on cars or whatever. But like that right there alone, like you can because you gotta do everything incrementally. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about it today. I was like, well, if I was to start my own little business, working on cars, I'd give a discount for anyone that could, show up, open carrying. And then recite why they're allowed to do that. And then we get a discount. That's kind of an incentive to read the Constitution. Mm. Or, something of that nature. And kind of one of the problems we have is we're all surrounded by corporations that feed us all. They all feed us everything. They feed us the junk on TV. They feed us the junk food from Walmart. They feed us the junk food from the fast food places. So maybe one of the solutions out there is to be an entrepreneur. Is to go out there and start a business. Mm-hmm. Failing or not. But do it the right way. Don't incorporate for one. And do your best to, I don't know.
As locally, spread the word locally for those that you have direct immediate interaction with, and then hope that one of those people will go and do that to their group of friends, and then, that's what your hope, that's the best I think that any one person can do, cause, to be able to do certain things that we're talking about, you need unlimited resources. And
It's true.
And who has unlimited resources besides
The Fed.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, here's another thing you could do, like, which actually stirred Sherry Jackson into doing what she was doing, and she was one of the IRS agents that, was a whistleblower in the end and went to jail and back on the circuit talking about it now. What opened her eyes was a $50,000 challenge, and it was a challenge to show us the law that shows that the regular person can, that is required to pay the income tax. Just show the law and we'll pay you $50,000. And she couldn't. So like having that is saying like, well, like say if I was out of business, I'll do whatever you want to fix your car for the rest of your life for free. If you can just show me the law that requires us to pay income tax. Mm-hmm. That would get some people to actually look into it. Not a lot, but it would get more, and it would kind of open some people's eyes. Opening eyes and opening minds is what we're looking for. And I'm not exactly sure how to do that the best way, but there's a lot of little ideas out there to do it. And again, like we can't just run out the street with a bullhorn and start screaming 9/11 was an inside job. Cause you look like a frickin' nut job. You're gonna walk away. Oh, you're not gonna walk away anywhere. You're gonna be dragged away, half tased and handcuffed or zip tied because you look crazy. And even though we all agree that 9/11 was a lie, or we were lied to about the official story, you can't just do what you heard about the kid that, I can't remember his name, he was from We Are Change. He circumvented the entire security system all the way to the frickin' field. And while the MVP player, I don't watch sports. I don't know what this dude's name was. But the MVP player for the fucking Super Bowl was like talking, and this We Are Change kid grabbed the mic and said, 9/11 was perpetrated was an inside job and perpetrated by, factions in our government. And then dropped the mic and walked away. Now, I can see where he was going with that, but I can also see how he made no headway anywhere.
It just made that whole faction
look even crazier.
Right. Fringed it out even more.
Right. And that's not what we were looking for either. You can't just, what was he thinking? You think like you grabbed a microphone like during the biggest sporting event of the year? Grabbing it is like sacrilege for most people in this country. The fact you grabbed the microphone is you don't even have a voice. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to drag him out in the street and beat the shit out of him.
Well, sure.
Just in general. It doesn't even matter what he said. Like he could have like grabbed the microphone and said, "I love everything about this team." Like, and he would have still gotten dragged out in the street and beaten by regular people that are just that ingrained into what they're watching. So what could he have said that would have made a difference?
No. He could have been screaming "Save the whales." You know what I mean? It's, I don't know.
But you see, it goes back to that conundrum of like, even if you do jump out into it, say what you're going to say, man.
Oh, I was just going to say that, like, I keep going back around on it myself, trying to find, trying to find a loophole out of that. And they're, cause I want you to fix my car for the rest of my life for free. So,
well, I'll fix your car for the rest of your life for free. Just show me the law that requires us to pay it.
I know.
Quick. I'm sure there's thousands and thousands of pages of law book you're going to have to start reading. So.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
You might want to get your Sharpie out and the fluorescent yellow marker and start highlighting everything. Then scan it into your computer and then have it take all your bullet points, and then in the end you're going to find out that was a lot of wasted time.
Yep.
You could have been out cleaning your guns and shooting them or something, You could have been out like teaching your daughter how to use her wrist rocket. Teach her how to gut a fish, fillet a fish. Real pertinent skills. So where's the line do we draw? Here's a better question. Should we even be paying attention to what we're being fed? Period. And that goes from both ends of the spectrum because you got like RT, which is gets like $300 million a year or something from, I don't even know, like shit tons of money from the Russian government to throw propaganda in the U.S., which is fine. It stirs us up. Thanks. Thank you, Russia, for doing that. It took the Russians, our Cold War enemies, to come over here to start pissing off the regular people. But again, they have their agenda. And then, even in the alternative networks, everyone's got their own little mini agenda. We all can't agree on anything. We can't agree on enough or even be respectful enough for each other to actually get any kind of cohesive, blah, blah. Can't even speak right now. Any kind of movement to make any kind of real change because we don't agree with each other. There's enough of us out there. There's enough of us out there that know that we're being screwed. Period. That should be the motive. That should be like the mantra. That should be like the freaking motto of this movie. We're just being screwed. With no lube. And not even a thank you afterwards. Just you didn't file that right. So here's your next little screw job.
You didn't pay us enough. There's your next one.
Yeah, here's your next bill.
We didn't take enough out of you this year. We're going to take more.
It's usually, or it gets like, you keep talking, so, you get the old talking tax. You and your talking tax.
Oh, you're depressed that we did all this to you and you want to go drink? Well, you got to tax. We're going to tax you on that.
The sin tax, yes. Yeah. We're not going to tax actual sins, just drinking.
Yeah. Yeah. And smoking.
Could have swore like killing was sin. Could have swore that was.
Pretty sure.
In general.
Yeah.
That goes down to the frickin' cops. They do that shit every day too. I've been saying for a while, all we should arm the cops with is a flimsy rubber, not even rubber, screw that, wiffle bat and a rape whistle. They shouldn't even get a radio because that's got a cord. You can make a bludgeoning whip thing out of that. Just give them a rape whistle and a wiffle ball bat. That's it. That will cure, at least a few hundred deaths a year.
At least. At least.
We can't agree on anything. We're stuck in a corner. This is a whole, loop-de-doop-de-loop-de-doop.
Yeah.
No one's calling in to, give us their viewpoints. Which is fine. No problems with that. But I just, I'm not trying to promote any defeatist attitude here. But I just kind of feel like not only are we we're stuck on the wall here and we had nowhere to go, but there's, even when the ideas come out, it's cyclical. It comes back to, we're just doing the same cycle over and over again, and we're really just burning our tires. We're sitting still. We're running in place.
Yep. And
I would like to see some kind of headway, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, right. I don't know. That may be why it's not been done yet. Maybe nobody knows what to do. I think, that is going to take something. It's going to take something drastic, like massively drastic, to stir the sheep awake.
I don't even if it does, it's going to be too late. We're already in chains. We just haven't recognized the chains are there. All this is already, this is a lot of these executive orders have already been signed, over a shit ton just from Obama alone.
Right.
And I know executive orders are unconstitutional to a certain, president can't just dictate law.
No.
He's not a dictator because,
Or is he?
Well, maybe he is. Maybe there's some secret law that we don't know about, because there's all kinds of shit we don't know about.
What?
We'll find out later, when it's too late again. Thank you very much, Captain Hindsight, for throwing that in there. You guys missed this. Oh, really? Well, they just released it last week. Well, it's been in place for 30 years. Well, thank you, Captain Hindsight, for being there when we really needed you after the fact. After the fact man will be next.
After the fact, man.
You're just there to point out all the shit you did wrong, man.
Is that Captain Hindsight's sidekick?
Yeah, after the fact, man. He's there after the fact to reassure and make sure that Captain Hindsight was right.
That's good. I like that.
You guys forgot your parachute. No shit. I'm gonna freaking splash on the ground. Thank you for pointing that out. I can just jump off this bridge now. So, I'm at the point to where I just want to just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna live my life, man, and deal with the situations as they come. Because I think that's probably the only way to do it. That's what I'm thinking. It's like the only way to do it. Just live your life and deal with the consequences as they come. Because there's always no consequences. Every single person in this freaking country, commits 3 crimes a day and they don't even know it. Because there's so many laws in the book. Yeah. So many. And there's nothing we can do to get around that. We don't know. If you don't know, and they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, I'm sorry. They should be posting the laws somewhere. That we can figure out. And I'm sorry, I don't have time. I don't have time in my day to read a 1,400 page, all-inclusive, screwed up, budget bill that ends up screwing everyone, or a farm bill that screws most people except for the corporations.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't read them either.
Or do we try to beat them at their own game? But then when you try to beat them at their own game by forming say everyone in the movement decided they were going to form a big corporation called Freedom Corps, Freedom Corporation. Mm-hmm. And we were going to go out there and start lobbying. Well, eventually that's called corruption happens. Infiltration happens. People get, we get greedy. Mm-hmm. It's one of them 7 deadly sins that we have, Yep. Everyone gets greedy at certain points. Everyone gets lustful at certain points. Everyone gets gluttony, all of them. It happens to everyone.
It does. And so you're saying just live your day to day, doing what you have to do,
right,
and just deal with it as it comes up. If something happens, something happens. Otherwise, you're just stuck in this cycle anyway. So just deal with it.
It's like the religious people say: live the best under Jesus as you can. Except for I have this thing with religion. I like that. That quote works for what I'm talking about. Not I like it, but it works. But, live under the Constitution and be as free and live by example. Mm-hmm. That's the only way I think I can do it. I think the only way I can do it is live by example. And as your fan gets covered in fecal matter and it starts spraying on your wall, you live by example and you don't let your guard, you don't let your guard down and you don't give up.
Okay.
Cause, that's the only way I can think about doing it, man. Only way. If they were, if I lived in Connecticut right now and they were demanding the mandatory registration of all these assault rifles and these, the high capacity magazines, I'd be like the 90% of the state that didn't do it.
I see. So you're just going to make choices based on situations that come up.
So that's why I don't have Obamacare. I won't sign up for it. Y'all can find me.
When they will.
They will.
Oh, they will.
They will. And screw them. But that's the only way I can think about doing it. And if it gets it's along that non-compliance,
I do. It's basically like you're boycotting. And, I have that same attitude about certain things that I have to deal with on a daily. I avoid certain stores because of certain employees, you know what I mean? It's
same deal.
Yeah, same deal. So, I understand. I just got to do that more then with bigger things. Okay.
Bigger things. If you don't, with your situation with the building your house, if you don't know if you need a permit, just do it. Yeah. Permits are everywhere. If you ask, I found out when I had my business, the more you ask, the more you pay. Mm. Oh, you have a second floor? Well, that's a whole different ballgame. Do you have a permit for that second floor in your business? I need a permit for a second floor? Seriously? Oh, well, if you have a second floor, then you need an elevator, and you need an escape hatch, and a parachute launcher, and, okay, well, what's that gonna run me? Oh, well, it's another 15 to 17 grand a piece for each one of those, and then we're gonna have to, there's a $400 filing fee, and we have to approve it, but the filing fee is not refundable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we gotta pay the person that you hand the paperwork to, and then we gotta, pay the person that files that paperwork. And then we gotta pay the person to grab that paperwork and set it on his desk for 2 or 3 weeks, and then do nothing with it and then put it in the scrap bin. And then you're stuck with some kind of suspension of something. Never happened to me at DMV before, I swear.
I don't know. The only problem is, if you want to make certain decisions along those lines, it's going to come take it. You know, so you have to comply in some certain ways.
But if you didn't know, you're not lying, right?
It's true.
If you don't ask, you don't know, then you're not lying.
True.
If you know and you're lying, you're lying. I don't know. Where's that gray area for perjury? I know there's a lot of people out there that know all too well how to manipulate that gray area. They get away with a whole shitload.
That's true. I don't know. I don't think you can get away with it. I mean, like non-permits and things, but you know, I power to anybody that wants to try and wants to stand up and do it.
That's what I'm doing. It's the very least I can do is live by example. And I don't have the time to run out there with signs. Nope. And I don't have time to run down to DC for all these marches.
Nope.
You know, you gotta live by example. Just, you know, conceal carry if you're allowed to.
Yep.
You know, don't follow unconstitutional laws unless you know, and then if you are, you know, deemed caught, then you gotta deal with that, you know, as you go. You have to know your rights, and you're gonna have to know how to advocate for your rights the proper way. There's a certain way to talk when you're trying, like,
yes.
It's all about, language is a big thing. Knowing how to, like, speak when, like, you're trying to convey your legality of your rights. Like, I don't even know where to, you know, go with that, but that whole Fifth Amendment right works really good. Of course, if you plead the Fifth, they look at it like, oh, you did something wrong. We live in this whole, like, oh, guilt by just not complying. You must, like, even if you weren't in the wrong, but, like, you were just like, I don't want to tell you shit.
Right.
Like, all of a sudden, according to everyone around you, like, you did something wrong.
Well, you're not being forthright.
Oh,
Which, you know.
Which means you're doing something wrong,
right,
to a lot of people. They go right to that, you know. We've been freaking brainwashed into thinking that, like, oh, this,
because you're not allowed to have any privacy, so, you know, you're not allowed to have any private thoughts to yourself.
Well, I'd take a taser to believe my rights. To sit there and hold my rights. Taser me to death.
They will.
I know they will. But I'll if I'm in the right, and I know I'm in the right, because I'm the kind of guy, like, if I know I did something wrong, I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, I'm a little easy that way, I guess. Yeah, I beat the shit out of that guy if he touched my girlfriend's ass.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Clink me.
Give me the shiny bracelet.
All you're doing is, like, saying, like, I did something right, and you're saying I did something wrong. And that guy that threatened me, you know, and then they got the people with pull and sway in the local government too. That those are the, you know, the local corruption. Oh man,
it's rotten top to bottom, my friend. Top to bottom. You know it, and it sucks. Live by example. Lead by example.
That's right. Just live your life by example.
Okay.
Be a good person. Do good things. Live by the Constitution. No matter how many times they try to outlaw it. They try every day. Every day. That's what they're bickering about in Congress. Even in the local house, our local legislators, they're arguing about taking certain people's rights away and giving rights to other people. Or actually, no, I'm gonna correct myself. They're taking our privileges away and giving privileges to some other people. Because privileges are really important to be acknowledged, because we have privileges in this country. We don't have rights anymore.
Well, like, it's just like you get privileges when you're in jail. You know, we're
just in a big open air jail.
Yeah, exactly. We're in a jail without bars, so they give you privileges for good behavior. You're allowed to go do things. They allow you to have the internet. They allow you to have all sorts of good things.
It's a pretty mellow night, huh?
It has been.
I know you guys were all looking forward to some kind of really rowdiness, but you know, we're not going to be all, we're not going to be rowdy tonight.
That's apparent.
We only got 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes of rowdy. No, not really. I'm not going to do that. I couldn't be like rah, rah, rah for like 4 minutes. That would just not work. Not work at all.
No, because it's a build, you have to build up into it.
Right. It's got to be
and then you got to come down.
So I'm just going to stay mellow.
Yeah, that's a good decision.
Mellow.
I think so.
That's right. Mellow night.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday. Who's rowdy on Tuesday?
We are. Sometimes.
No, it's Thursday usually.
Well, yeah. Been lately, yeah. It's alright. It happens.
So, I'd just like to say, thanks to everyone in chat for showing up and listening to us just kind of talk all easy listening style tonight. So I think I'm going to do a quick shout out to chat to say hi to everyone that decided to stick around and listen. We got Ban Jovi in chat. How's it going, Ban? Board. How's it going, Board, up there in Canada? We got Cracker. Mr. Cracker, how you doing? Dal down there in Central America, chiming in from way far away. I always like reading Dal's comments. He's awesome. Dan in Tennessee will be on later with Primer Time at 10. And Desert Hawk, who called in last week. Thanks for calling in, dude. Always welcome. Free the Sheeple. I'm pretty sure that's Mike from Primer Time too. And Hecty and Jax and Joe Friday, Jules and Zori, Road Dog, SLC Mike. We got Saul in there, Mr. Walter. It's on Saturdays. And a bunch of Anons. Thanks guys for sticking around. It's been a mellow night. Don't want to get everyone, I want to ease everyone into the rest of the night's shows, cause, you know, we got, I don't know, who's coming up on next? Oh, we got, Jonathan and Steven's coming on next, and then, we got Jeff Wefferson on after that, and then Primer Time, and then we got Prepper Chicks After Dark at 11. And I'm sure there's someone on after that. I'm not 100%. But it's going to be an awesome night of radio for everyone. So if you want to stick around and, you know, throw your comments back and forth in chat and have a good time, communicate, connect, you know, throw each other's Skype connections together and actually talk with each other, man. Go on video. Have this whole like visual thing going. It's kind of crazy, man. We can we're all real people here, so connect with your neighbors because we're neighbors. We always find ourselves in the same neighborhood. It's right here at UCY.TV. So you got 1 minute. 1 minute.
We should play that new Pootie Tang song.
I don't want to play the new Pootie Tang song.
Okay.
That'd be like 1 minute of silence, me going, yeah.
This is creepy.
You hear that? That's a really great movie. So anyway, everyone, thanks for showing up. James for being here. Lucky the cat for being here, laying behind me and not bugging the crap out of me as you usually do. And, I guess, in about 6 seconds we're gonna be out, I think.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Okay, it's taking longer than I thought. So we'll have the train wreck now.